So this video is going to take you through how to play the Breakout EDU game Le Version Française, which is all about the French Revolution. So the story is that it's 1794 and you're a member of the Paris Commune. You've been arrested after being declared an outlaw by the National Convention. You've been imprisoned in the conciergerie to await your execution scheduled to take place tomorrow. There are supporters of the Paris Commune ready to help you escape, but you need to break out of your cell in order to reach them. A previous prisoner has left clues around the cell as to the lock codes. So the setup for the locks is that you have the small lockbox with a copy of the French national anthem inside, as well as the UV light. This is secured then with the 4-digit lock with the code 1789. You then have the large box secured with the hasp, with the 3-digit lock with the code of 147, the directional multi-lock with left down, left up, right, and the ABC multi-lock with the word sen. So you also have the Breakout EDU Locks app, and use a text lock with the code 4848N27E. So how do you actually play the game? So to start off with, your participants will see a series of QR codes around the room. The first one will have the words start here and an arrow pointing to it, and the QR codes will provide them with a series of words or short phrases that they have to figure out what it means. So they are when with a question mark to give them a clue if they've got to figure out the time. Other QR codes say les hommes, naissent, et demeurent, libres et égaux, and droit. And they should figure out that it's goes together, and that it's obviously in French and they need to translate it, and that it is the first article of the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen. And that was 1789, so that actually opens the 4-digit lock, which will then consequently allow them to get access to the small lockbox. Inside the small lockbox, they find the UV light and French national anthem, La Marseillaise. And on that copy of the French national anthem will be the letters circled with the invisible ink pen spelling out Angel of Death. Students then need to figure out that the Angel of Death is in fact one of these 6 characters. So the pictures of these 6 people will be up around the room, and then they should be able to figure out that that is in fact Louis Antoine de Saint-Just. And once they go to the picture of him, they will find that behind it are the words liberté, égalité, and fraternité. Of course, in English being liberty, equality, and fraternity. Nearby will be a USB, and on that USB will be a link to this website, whereby there's a Google form acting as passwords. The 3 passwords, because it says passwords EN, students should be able to figure out that in fact the passwords are liberty, equality, and fraternity. Once they submit those passwords correctly, a picture of the storming of the Bastille will appear. The storming of the Bastille happened on the 14th of July, and this is the code for the 3-digit lock. So that will unlock the first of the locks on the large box. Once students have been able to break this first lock, you should tell them that there has been a letter snuck into the cell and hidden for you, with a little bit more guidance to help you with your escape. And so students should search around the room, and inside an envelope will be a letter and a map. And the letter talks about Maximilien Robespierre, who's a key figure in the French Revolution, and also holds a map of revolutionary Paris. Using that UV light, students will then find that there is in fact directions to the meeting place on that map, and these are in fact the directions for breaking the directional multi-lock. So going back to Maximilien Robespierre, so students then go to that picture of Robespierre that is up around the room along with the other mentioned earlier. They will find that using their UV light, a few equations and words. So 6 times 8 equals 13 plus 35 equals November. 26 divided by 13 equals the square root of 49 equals echo. And using that, they can then head to the app on the iPad, which will be set up in the room, and input the code 4848N27E, which is in fact the latitude and longitude for Versailles. When they crack that code, it will bring up a map of Paris, which if students then figure out that the latitude and longitude and that it does belong to Versailles, they navigate to Versailles. When they click on Versailles, it will then take them to their final clue, which is this letter, telling students that if they cannot meet them at their meeting place, that they fear their danger, to meet them underneath Pont de la Concorde, and that should be able to guide students. If they look back at their map of revolutionary Paris, we'll see that Pont de la Concorde is the bridge, one of the bridges crossing over the Seine. And so their transportation is a boat, and that gives us the final code of Seine.